Another unpleasant month for the tourism industry in Vegas, as the city continued to lose 11.3% of visitors, equivalent to more than 400,000 people. With the current empty scene, Vegas just needs to gather the homeless people and turn on the camera to immediately make Army of Darkness 2 without needing to build a backdrop. That's right, no one can deny that Vegas is dead. But this death was not an accident, much less a natural consequence of the economy. It was a targeted assassination, orchestrated by the city's own operators. And among the people behind that drama, Caesars Entertainment is the central character. The empire that was once the symbol of the American dream in the middle of the desert is now buckling under a $12.3 billion debt bomb, which the CEOs themselves triggered with seemingly restructuring decision strategy. From silent layoffs, record-breaking accommodation fees, to turning casinos into Wall Street financial instruments, Caesars' every step is causing the city to crack from the inside. Because amidst the bright neon lights, what is glowing is no longer life-changing illusions, but the fire that is burning the future of Vegas itself. In today's video, we'll take a deep look at that $12.3 billion time bomb to understand how Caesars' CEO is silently destroying Sin City, and why, if no one stops, Vegas may never revive again. Las Vegas is built on gambles, but there has never been a gamble as reckless as the one Caesars is playing. And that was only accidentally revealed in a seemingly harmless statement from the corporation's own CEO. According to sources from CDC Gaming, during the 2023 shareholder meeting, Caesars Entertainment CEO Tom Reeg frankly said, "You're bringing in higher value customers and you're already full, so you're kicking out the lowest end. I see no reason that needs to or would stop." That's not a gaffe. That is a carefully calculated plan. Vegas leaders are no longer hiding. They are proactively shrinking their customer base, wanting fewer customers, but getting richer and spending more. This strategy, known to them as repositioning towards the high end, is essentially a silent purge, eliminating the middle class, group that was once the soul and backbone of Strip, in favor of the luxury whale, willing to throw hundreds of thousands of dollars per holiday. But of course, CEOs don't show this purge too clearly. They silently repel the common traveler by hitting their biggest pain, the cost. Resort fee $55 per night. Early check-in fee is $60. A bottle of filtered water costs $25 with an additional $20 restock fee. Small surcharges are like needles, but accumulate into a giant barrier that makes those who once considered Vegas a destination of popular joy now just stand by and watch. Not only money, but also experiences are stratified. Rich people are checked in early, have their own aisles, have employees who bow and serve wholeheartedly with an affable attitude. What about the rest of us? Pay extra for early check-in, pay extra for a $25 cocktail, or pay extra for superficial service. Vegas, city once built with working-class dreams, is now slowly drifting away from themselves. The lighting on the Strip is still bright, but inside is a game no longer for everyone. Every new fee, every price increase, every premium area adds a little, all step by step in Caesar's master plan, making Vegas so expensive that only whales can swim afloat. Ironically, it is the middle class that is the true heart of this city. They are the people who once filled the casino floor, bought drinks, cheered at the card table, contributing to the exciting atmosphere that made Vegas legendary. But today, the city is cutting itself off because of a small group of super rich people. There are no more tourists who save all year to go to Vegas once. No more families walking on the Strip, eating buffets, watching shows, and then trying their luck with a few chips. When the goal is to please billionaires, ordinary gamblers become obstacles in the CEO's sight. Las Vegas is now transforming itself into a playground of the super rich, where there is only room for whales, giant customers like James Packer or Floyd Mayweather. They were picked up by private plane, had a Bentley waiting, entered, a lavish suite that didn't appear online, and bet money that exceeded the average person's income for a year. For them, Vegas is a separate stage, and for the rest of society, it has become a place where there is no more place. In the eyes of corporations, the working class and mass tourists seem to be just stuck in the feet of tycoons. But it was they who lit the fire for this city, making it lively and attractive. Now, everything is priced sky high, every fee increase, every play area is closed, every experience is locked after a price that is out of reach. However, perhaps they accidentally forgot. Vegas has never lived only on money. It lives on energy, laughter, excitement, by feeling everyone is welcome. And when you drive away the crowd, you don't just lose customers, you erase the soul of the city. Because once there are no more cheers, no more little dreamers looking for luck, then even Whale will soon leave. Because people who don't care about money are more interested in feeling happy. And when the fun is gone, Vegas, no matter how bright, is just a bland illusion in the middle of the desert. Caesars Entertainment is betting on its own survival. No longer casino hands, this is a balance sheet hand, with a $12.3 billion debt bomb ticking every day. In September 2025, Caesars was officially removed from the S&P 500 index, the list of America's top 500 companies, a fall that not only hurt reputation, but also bottomed out trust. Being in the S&P 500 means being recognized as a pillar of the American economy. When eliminated, it is a sign that the business has lost momentum, lost scale, and lost market confidence. In just 2 years, Caesars shares evaporated more than 50% of their value, and this year alone have dropped another 30%. With a series of investment funds forced to sell off their shares, the stock price plummeted, making it even more difficult for the company to raise capital in, while the debt bomb remained heavier with each quarter. The business situation in Las Vegas is no better. Caesars' revenue fell 3.7% in the second quarter of 2025, equivalent to tens of millions of dollars disappearing in just 3 months, and room capacity dropped another 2 percentage points, or about 27,000 room nights were vacant. Rooms once filled with visitors' laughter now lie dormant under the yellow lights of Vegas's iconic strip, now like chalk covering a pale face. To save the situation, Caesars had to sell iconic assets like the World Series of Poker or the Link Promenade to spin the cash. But those deals, just like cutting off the tops of a tree while the roots are rotten, can help the outside look less pathetic, but cannot heal the disease inside. The truth is, Caesars are stuck in the very strategy they were once proud of. The premiumization strategy has unintentionally pushed them away from traditional customers and caused the city to lose its inherent soul. Meanwhile, Vegas is facing an unprecedented decline in tourism. The number of visitors to the city decreased by 11% in June 2025 compared to last year, an alarming slide with the economy depending almost entirely on tourists. Room prices, food, drinks, and service fees increased rapidly, making many people feel legally robbed by an entire local economy, once powered by the energy of the middle class, is now being stifled by decisions from the top. Visitors no longer feel is worth the money when coming here. Those who once considered Vegas a symbol of freedom and popular entertainment now feel like they're entering a rigged game where every smile costs and every pleasure is charged. Caesars still tries to be optimistic. They talk about a thriving fourth quarter, about conferences, big events, about the influx of returning business visitors. But even the most hopeful understand, this is no longer a temporary slide, but the consequence of a wrong vision. Because when a city successfully builds on the bustle and massiveness and chooses to get rid of that same crowd to follow the elite, collapse is only a matter of time. Vegas now looks like a ghost, wearing a plush, sleek suit, but empty inside. And if that $12.3 billion bomb explodes, it will not only carry Caesars, but possibly the ultimate belief in the Las Vegas, dream that once made the whole world believe that anyone could win. As the lights on the strip remained bright, few people realized behind the light were haggard faces gradually fading into the darkness. Every service smile, every refreshing laugh in the casino is all fading away. Vegas is still bright, but the people who make it alive are running out. And in the $12.3 billion gamble that Caesars is playing, they are the first cards to be sacrificed. A waitress at Caesars shared that my tip has halved compared to last year. Guests are fewer, shifts are shortened, and sometimes a whole night only earns enough gas. A waiter at the strip said that her income decreased by nearly 50% compared to the previous summer. The once bustling nights with laughter and music are now just a series of empty hours waiting for guests to never arrive. On TikTok, another employee lamented, "Last year I made $300–500 per night. This week there are only $124 left." No need for official figures, just looking at those tired faces is enough to see. Vegas withering from the inside. Casinos are empty, tables are empty, and the smiles that were once the soul of the city now fade under the neon lights. Many workers call this invisible crisis. It's not noisy, not sensational, but corrodes every salary, every dream. Because when tourists disappear, workers are the first victims. They are people who sweat for other people's dreams. But now, they themselves have to pay the price for mistakes from the people on the top floor. Vegas was once built with faith and smiles. The smile of the waiter carrying drinks, the housekeeping staff, and the dealer drawing cards. Every smile is an invitation. You are in the city of joy. But when those smiles are no longer paid the right price, when the people who created that experience cannot live on their own work, what is left of Vegas but light? There are employees who have worked here for decades, witnessed the ups and downs of the city, now have to withdraw from apartments because of rising rents, or find part-time after-hours jobs in neighboring states. For them, Vegas is no longer a promised land, but an alchemical stage where they have to smile to hide their fatigue. And in that picture, Caesars is not the only one, but is the clearest symbol of a city that is losing its true emotions. When businesses choose to reduce people, increase machines, when automatic check-in counters replace greetings, when robots replace bartenders, Vegas is losing its most valuable capital, the connection between people. Nowadays, entering Las Vegas is no longer entering the light dream, but entering a maze of charges. People used to come here to forget reality, and now reality follows you to every bill. The tiny numbers printed at the end of the receipt, resort fee, processing fee, service charge, are slowly destroying Vegas with a slow collapse from 1,000 cuts. In 2024 alone, MGM Resorts increased resort fees twice, reaching $40.55 per night. A room that once had a list price of $99, after adding taxes and surcharges, now easily exceeds $200 a night without including breakfast, parking, or even drinking water. A $25 cocktail, a $30 pancake, a $35 burger, and a welcome to Vegas smile are probably the only things left for free. Tourists started joking that Vegas now doesn't take your nickel and dimmer anymore. Each nickel here is worth 25. That laughter was bitter, because it came from people who loved Vegas and considered this a place worth losing money. Before, losing money was still part of the fun, because at least the city makes you happy when you lose money. But now, even if one wins, one still feels cheated. Even in Vegas's iconic blackjack, game tables, the payout ratio is lowered from 3.2 to 6.5, meaning the winner gets almost half the amount compared to before. A small victory is now just a meaningless number because the dealer has calculated every penny of profit in each card in advance. No need to cheat. The system has been programmed so that players lose slower than, but more surely. What people regret most is not just the money, but the spirit of old Vegas that once made this city different. Free attractions that were once the soul of Vegas, like Mirage Volcano or Treasure Island Pirates Show, have been dismantled, making way for high-end shopping areas and lavish suites. The city was once built to take your money, but makes you smile when you lose money. Now there's only the fake smile of the bills left. Vegas still makes money, but loses the reason people are willing to spend. When every experience is priced, every dollar becomes a small cut. Slowly, but deep enough to drain the excitement. And that lavish trap is not only aimed at tourists, but is imprisoning the city itself in its flashy shell. A city doesn't always collapse because of a big blow. Sometimes it collapses because of greed, is small but spreads like an epidemic. And as Vegas begins to lose visitors, the entire state of Nevada is feeling that fever spreading through every economic vein. In 2024, the Las Vegas Convention and Tourism Authority, LVCVA, collected $382 million from a child hotel room tax that is considered the lifeblood of the local economy. But as visitor numbers plummet in 2025, the government predicts this revenue decline could cause the state budget to run a deficit of up to $110 million. And what few people know is, only about 2/3 of that room tax actually stays in Vegas. The remainder is allocated to education, transportation, and public services throughout the state of Nevada. When Vegas lost passengers, schools, buses, and even roads in hundreds of small towns also suffered. Those cold numbers speak to a bitter reality. When casinos lose profits, Nevada children have fewer books, fewer teachers, and fewer opportunities. An economy once fed by the joy and energy of tourists now drains the blood of ordinary people. Vegas used to be a goose that laid golden eggs, but now, out of greed, it is eating its own egg. The irony is, local casinos, serving the popular class, are living well. Their revenue increased nearly 50% in the past year, while Strip, symbol of luxury, bleeds. Ordinary workers, once driven from downtown Vegas, now find joy in smaller, friendlier casinos where cocktails don't cost $25 and employee smiles aren't programmed by machine. Vegas used to be the city that fed the state, but now it is suffocating Nevada's economy. As each resort on the Strip tries to squeeze a few extra dues from visitors, they not only destroy emotions, they also stifle public budgets. Vegas was once considered the state's engine. Now, it's like a machine feeding itself fuel to keep spinning. If this trend continues, Vegas's demise won't just be within the city limits. It will spread to every school district, every bus station, every medical station of Nevada, because every financial road in the state originates from the Strip. And once the Strip dries up, the entire state will be thirsty. Who will save Nevada from Las Vegas itself when greed has become a cure-free virus? If anyone wants to see the most realistic image of Las Vegas today, head to Allegiant Stadium on match day. The VIP area is bright with lights, champagne glasses sparkle, laughter echoing through the row of premium seats. But just look down a few rows below, and you will see endless empty seats. That's the same Vegas right now. A city that sparkles at its peak, but is hollow inside. The CEOs of Caesars, MGM, and many other corporations are pursuing a philosophy they call premium repositioning. Repositioning strategy to the premium segment. On paper, it looks perfect. Rising prices, falling personnel costs, better quarterly profit reports. But in reality, this is a short-term bet with long-term consequences. Vegas is losing something that cannot be priced: the loyalty of its residents and visitors. A city once built from fun crowds, budget parties, and the loud laughter of all classes now leaves only the sound of air conditioning in VIP rooms. And while CEOs are busy decorating their finances, They forget that it's the noisy crowd that powers this city. Without them, Vegas is nothing more than a stage without spectators. Nowadays, casinos race to make luxury, investing in luxury experiences. But the more they follow class, the more they move away from what once made Sin City's identity: massiveness. But where is that crowd now? They are playing at home. According to data from the American Gaming Association, the US online gambling industry achieved revenue of $122.6 billion in 2024. The huge number has directly corroded the number of young visitors who have flocked to Vegas. When everything from blackjack to roulette was on the phone, the younger generation had no reason to fly to the desert and pay an additional $55 in resort fees for the same bet. Vegas has lost its next generation, and CEOs don't seem to realize it yet. Today, CEOs have expectations for the return of major conferences and events to patch revenue gaps. But while the numbers on the spreadsheet are recoverable, the atmosphere that makes up the soul of Vegas cannot be redeemed with money. No one can recreate the feeling of the 80s, when Vegas was everyone's city, not just eligible people. How many more strategies will be tried? How many more beautiful reports will be presented before the heads realize no one really wins in an empty casino? Not every empire collapses out of greed. Some collapse because of fear of change, fear of losing control, fear of admitting that the world has moved on and they remain still. And that's the disease that's eating away at Las Vegas. A city that once called itself the capital of fantasy is now shaking at the fact that the new generation is no longer dreaming about it. In the 1980s, Vegas was a common American dream, symbol of freedom, adventure, and the opportunity to start over. But for the generation born after 2000, dreaming about Vegas sounds more like their parents' nostalgia than their own aspirations. They don't need to wait for a vacation to drink. Cocktails, they can order drinks right in their small apartment via the delivery app. They don't need to carry a suitcase to the desert to bet. Blackjack and poker games are now in just one phone app. While Vegas is still passionately selling lavish experiences, the new generation is buying real experiences, and they are no longer on the strip. From 2020 to 2025, the number of all-you-can-eat buffets on the strip decreased from dozens to just 8. The lines of people waiting in front of the seafood stalls, the families gathered at the large dining table are all disappearing. When Poker Palace, a family casino opened in 1974, closed and 120 employees lost their jobs, locals said that was not just a closed building, but part of the city's memory erased. Vegas used to be where people came to feel close to each other. Now, it is becoming where people avoid each other to have class. Miracles cannot be sold for more than it only exists when you know how to share it. The problem is Vegas still humble enough to relearn that before its last light goes out? Las Vegas has never been just a city. It is a collective dream, where people come to try their luck, to temporarily forget reality, to believe that just one night, life can change. But now, that dream is being shattered to pieces by the people who run it. Caesars, MGM, Hard Rock, all talking about repositioning, premium customers, and more classy experience. But in that race, they forgot the simplest thing. Vegas was once great, not because it was expensive, but because it made ordinary people feel rich. But perhaps every empire has a chance to be reborn, if it dares to admit its mistakes and relearn how to listen. If Las Vegas wants to live on, it must remember that this city was not built with money, but with people. With smiles, sweat, and the belief that everyone deserves a chance, even if it's just for one night. If you believe Vegas can still find its soul, leave a comment below. Click. Like if you have ever loved that light, share to spread this story, and subscribe to continue exploring the hidden corners behind the aura of Sin City. With us, The content in this video is developed for the purpose of analyzing, commenting on, and providing aggregated information from public sources, including financial reports, mass media, and expert opinions. All facts, figures, and citations are presented with educational objectives, research, and reflect social phenomena, without being alleging, judging, or absolutely affirmative. Every point of view in the video only represents the subjective, analytical judgment of the content creator, does not reflect or represent any organization, business, or individual mentioned. Audiences are encouraged to self-verify information and view content as an open perspective, not a final conclusion.